you rocking with pettyblog.com.
I can't be on the petty blog.
So they already know that I'm dropping the tea. Okay, so let's get right into it, and in case you missed it, the following didn't age too well, but this is something that was revealed in Will Smith's book Will that was published 5 months ago, and verbatim. The story of Will Smith is more complicated than anyone ever knew. In this week's issue, People has an exclusive excerpt from the 53-year-old star's revealing new memoir Will, out November 9. In it, Smith lays bare painful family secrets, including a traumatic childhood incident involving his late father, Will Sr., that he says scarred him for years to come. Early in the book, Smith sets up the complicated relationship he had with his father, William Carroll Smith Sr., who, with his mother, Caroline Bright, raised Smith and his 3 siblings in Philadelphia. My father was violent, but he was also at every game, play, and recital. He was an alcoholic, but he was sober at every premiere of every one of my movies, he writes. He listened to every record. He visited every studio. The same intense perfectionism that terrorized his family put food on the table every night of my life. Smith writes that a terrifying act of violence he witnessed his father carry out against his mother changed his life forever. When I was 9 years old, I watched my father punch my mother in the side of the head so hard that she collapsed. I saw her spit blood.
My mom got scared.
That moment in that bedroom, probably more than any other moment in my life, has defined who I am. For the actor, the trauma of that moment would impact his entire life and career. He explains, within everything that I have done since then, the awards and accolades, the spotlights and attention, the characters and the laughs, there has been a subtle string of apologies to my mother for my inaction that day, for failing her in that moment, for failing to stand up to my father, for being a coward. He continues, what you have come to understand as Will Smith, the alien annihilated MC, the bigger-than-life movie star, is largely a construction, a carefully crafted and honed character, designed to protect myself, to hide myself from the world, to hide the coward. Smith's parents separated when he was a teen and divorced in 2000. Despite maintaining a close relationship with his father, the actor writes that his anger stemming from that childhood incident surfaced again decades later, while he cared for Will Sr., who had cancer. One night, as I delicately wheeled him from his bedroom toward the bathroom, a darkness arose within me. The path between the 2 rooms goes past the top of the stairs. As a child, I'd always told myself that I would one day avenge my mother, that when I was big enough, when I was strong enough, when I was no longer a coward, I would slay him. In that moment, Smith recalls entertaining the thought of killing his father. I paused at the top of the stairs. I could shove him down and easily get away with it, he writes. As the decades of pain, anger, and resentment coursed and receded, I shook my head and proceeded to wheel Daddy-O to the bathroom. After Will Sr. died in 2016, Smith reflected on their turbulent relationship and what it taught him about finding true fulfillment. There is nothing that you can receive from the material world that will create inner peace or fulfillment, he writes. In the end, it will not matter one single bit how well people loved you. You will only gain a smile based on how well you love them. Wow, look, we're not doing this to vilify Will, but we are a blog, so we're keeping you guys informed and in the know. And more so, we want parents to be more mindful about what they do around their kids and how they treat them. I don't know what part of your kids are not stupid and they're always watching that some parents don't understand, but
Parents just don't understand.
it couldn't be more than true. Every single thing you do to them is shaping them and what they think about you and how they see themselves treating you when you get old. Some of y'all bully your own kids with mean jokes, thinking it's funny and thinking that they kids, so they don't have any feelings. They don't care. Meanwhile, they are hurt and contemplating which nursing home they finna throw you in about 30 years. Okay? You might need their help in the future, so some of y'all gotta stop. I mean, do you know how many people who are in their 60s and 70s, 80s even, who are still traumatized by what their parents did to them when they were like 5, 6, or 10 or whatever? So parents as a whole, y'all gotta do better around y'all children. Cause imagine if Will were to actually push his dad down them stairs that day. He for sure would have got away with that, but he would still be the one who caused his dad's passing. But had his father never been violent to his mother that day, and in front of him at that, then those thoughts would have never been circulating in his brain.
I'd rather be in jail than to have my father hit me.
So it all goes back down to the parenting.
I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was.
When somebody acts crazy or acts up or acts weird, more likely than not, it's something that they've been through when they were a kid or something that their parents or family members did that they cannot process. So the real takeaway from this is, and I can't stress this enough, is be better parents and watch what you do around your kids. Man, don't even do it at all if it ain't right, okay? And like Will said, he would have never knew that his dad had any negative qualities because he was sober in the public world and he presented himself as an outstanding father who never missed a beat. So the fact that Will says that he's a carefully honed character to the outside world, Lord knows what his actual self really is when nobody's around, when he's home. Just imagine the anger issues and emotional roller coasters that he may be facing behind the scenes once they yell cut. Will also talked about seeing a scared little boy in his father. He said it is a really interesting thing when somebody knows that they're dying, like all the foolishness gets out of the way. Every hello may be so rich because we knew it was a gift. Every goodbye was so deep and thorough because we knew it could be the last one. He wrote, the soldier was gone in him, referring to his father. He's trying to find one last piece of wisdom, but he's empty. I could recognize that same scared little boy inside of him that wasn't me. What I learned was the real truth of what it means to love somebody. And no, I don't think that Will is a bad person. I think that Will does things, like he said, that moment shaped his life when he was 9. So he's doing things to prove that he's not a coward. He doesn't want to have inaction. So when somebody does things, he probably was trying to stand up when he smacked Chris. He has some unresolved trauma that he's dealing with. And I think that he needs a therapist. I don't know. Maybe he already has one. A therapist for that in particular. What he needs to remember is that he was only 9. He is not responsible for what happened. There's nothing that a 9-year-old could have done, honestly. Come on, let's be real.
There was nothing I could do.
What Will is doing is blaming himself for what happened that day when he was only 9 and defenseless. You see what I'm saying? So he needs to overcome that and let that go, because that's clearly playing a part in who he's been his whole life, what he did at the Oscars, and he needs to fix it.
For example, it's not somebody's fault if their father was an abusive alcoholic, but it's for damn sure their responsibility to figure out how they're going to deal with those traumas and try to make a life out of it. Fault and responsibility do not go together. It sucks, but they don't. When something is somebody's fault, we want them to suffer. We want them punished. We want them to pay.
It's crazy, but what are y'all thinking? We want to know, so leave your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more. And don't forget to hit that bell to join the notification gang. PettyBlog.com signing out.